Hello everybody, welcome to the AirDXB News Desk. I am Greg, CEO and founder of AirDXB, and this is
Joanna, Head of Real Estate.
Right, we're going to bring you some interesting stories that we've seen in the last month and a little bit about AirDXB and what we're doing, because there's a few things that we need to share with you. So Joanna, first things first, in the Gulf news, the Dubai RERA Rental Index. It says the update to the Dubai RERA Rental Index has been one of the most significant announcements to come out of the property market recently. And the other key announcement was the eviction notices are now transferable to other owners, I should say. What do you think about all of this? How's it going to affect the market?
Do you know what? It's something that I never thought was going to come. For the longest time, owners, especially if you've rented a property in Dubai, COVID time, just after COVID, your rental rates were incredible. You were getting really good rates, and owners were soon realizing year after year that as new people were renting in a nearby area or in a villa that's exactly the same as theirs, other owners were getting a lot more if they were renting later on. And they weren't able to increase the rent. An owner was contacting tenants saying, look, this is what other apartments or villas in the area are going for. And people would just throw the RERA index at them and say, well, actually, no rental increase is valid. Now we're at a point where owners are able to capitalize on the market that's increasing and get a lot more for the rent. And the RERA index is reflecting that because it's not focusing on the amounts that were valid at the time of COVID and just after.
So how far is it going back, the RERA index? So if someone moved in 2 years ago, will it affect them, or 5 years ago?
It's affecting anybody that is due for a rental renewal.
Okay.
As of now.
But those that, let's say, moved in the last year, not as much. It's more those 2 or 3 years ago who capitalised on
COVID rates.
Having
said that, if you look at February last year versus February this year, rents are still up 16%.
Okay.
Your average rent in Dubai, you're looking at 188,000. So as much as COVID rates were low and the rates now in comparison are huge, even if you're just looking year on year, you're still up significantly.
Okay. All right. And then the next thing is they're talking about eviction notices.
Yeah. So way back when, and for the longest time, anyone that purchases a property, if it's tenanted, it's been really difficult. And people were becoming more savvy with the laws and what they're entitled to as tenants. And they were waiting for a property to sell and then turning around to the new owner and saying, do you know what, actually, now I'm going to have another year because you have to serve your notice. The previous owner served my notice. Now it's your turn. So I was seeing a lot of agents lose deals over this. So the fact that now a notice is transferable, meaning that it doesn't matter when the notice was served pre-sale, it still stands when a new owner takes over the title deed.
So it's a fixed 12-month term regardless of who
owns it, 365 days from the day it was served, no matter when a new owner takes over it.
Right.
So it's making it a lot easier for owners to sell their properties.
It is, and I shouldn't say the wonderful thing is, but if owners can take back the new owner full control over their property, they can then do what they want to do with it. So whether that's moving into it, whether it's deciding, to put it to short term or whatever the case may be. And I would be led to believe, and I think I'm right, that of course there's the 4 reasons that you can now evict a tenant. So the selling one, that then adheres to it. So if the pre-owner, should we say, serve that notice, that is all in line with the law because they've sold it. So the new owner inherits it. So if he wants to put in a different tenant, could he do that?
It's up to, it's on the owner.
He could.
Yeah.
So that gives you full access as a new owner to whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Which I agree with. Yeah. Yeah, a new owner should have that entitlement to their property.
Giving the flexibility back to the person that actually owns the property.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And of course, they can then move it into short let if they wanted to.
They could.
Right. So I just want to move this back just very quickly, just onto the RERA rental index and the fact that tenants will then have to pay more. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that these tenants that now will have to see these higher rates paid, are they going to pay them? Are they going to move out? What do you think they're going to do? I just want to get your feelings on that very quickly before we move on.
I think it depends on the individual. It depends on their personal circumstances. You're going to find people that are going to want to live in a specific area and they'll pay what it takes to live there.
Yeah.
Especially certain professions where they're getting support from their employer for that. Maybe they're willing to put the extra to stay. People like me, I look at moving further afield where the rents are cheaper and I'm getting the same size property for a lot less.
What about people buying? Because I rent and I moved in and I capitalised on COVID-19 situation. If my rent goes up to the current market value, I will buy.
There's going to come a point where people are going to want to stop paying, depending on how much your rent is. And if you then start comparing what you've paid year on year, you do the maths, you think, by the time I've paid X amount of rent over however many years, I could have had my deposit for a house. And you know, if you look at my mortgage versus what I'm paying in rent, you're going to save money.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think you could well see a surge in more sales.
More buyers.
And this market just keeps fueling itself. Well played by the government, perhaps. Right. On to some great news. It's about AirDXB. We won another award. That is our third award. So this is given to us by the MEA Markets, and we won the UAE Business Award 2024 most trusted short-term rental company. So that's fantastic. So that's 3 awards for AirDXB in the last 2 to 3 months. So cracking and fantastic accolade that we are working very, very hard. So we thought we'd share that with you because it is great news, isn't it? We as a group, we do have a brokerage and a sales side, hence the reason we have Joanna here. But we've recently introduced something which I think is newsworthy because I don't think Dubai's seen this, have they? So do you just want to give a bit more information about what we're offering as a firm to brokers?
Absolutely. So for me, I just think that it's so important to reward the hard work of a broker.
Yep.
A broker works for a company does what they can for that broker, but ultimately that broker's doing the sales because of the hard work that they're putting in and the efforts that they're putting in. So why not reward that? I think it's unheard of in the market where an agency is going to give 100% commission to a broker, and that's absolutely what we're doing. As an agent, you come in, you're selling 550,000 dirhams worth of property of commission.
Your billing of commission,
Billing, 550,000.
Yeah.
Anything above that, we're not going to take any of that from you. That's your hard-earned money. You keep 100%.
And that's newsworthy. I think we'll all agree. Right, okay. Well, look, I think we're just going to leave it on that. I think there's such a hard-hitting situation that's happened with the market with respect to the rents and notice periods, and of course, just a bit about AirDXB. So, Joanna, once again, thank you.
Thank you
for joining the AirDXB News Desk.
Anytime.
Have a very, very, very fruitful week ahead.
You too.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.